Xray microlensing, is that it? That is it. 5 days. Oh,
Right,
5 days.
This is a guide on how to use microlensing or Bastion Xray and
Well,
realms.
listen, I need to go to
two
the
other videos that are loaded with
sec.
information if you want to understand this. But this is a video on what you're looking for and what to do in a real run. So first of all, you want to increase your entity render distance to 500%. It'll look different if you're on a vanilla client, but this is a vanilla feature. You technically don't need it this high at 500%. And also, if you're using sodium, which is not actually required for this tech, you need to update it with the link in the description. And if you're using sodium, you don't need to do this on vanilla. You need to disable entity culling. It'll lower your FPS, but it's necessary. So again, we want to look at E to know what number of entities are in our field of view. So it's this first number before the slash at E at the top left here.
My fucking headset died. Wait, what?
So that's the number of entities that are within our current field of view, including through the walls.
Okay, what the fuck are you talking about? Entity percentage.
It'll look different.
Entity distance to 500.
But this is a vanilla feature. You technically don't need it this high at 500%. And also, if you're using sodium, which is not actually required for this tech, you need to update it with the link in the description. And if you're using sodium, you don't need to do this on vanilla. You need to disable entity culling. It'll lower your FPS, but it's necessary. So again, we want to look at E.
One more time.
So your FPS.
He paused for so long that my brain paused.
Disable entity culling.
Disable entity culling.
Hello, Forsen. I am here to tell my goodbyes to you and chat. I will be taking a 2-month vacation. Sadia, Sadia, Molly Pepe Hands, Bun Pepe Hands, Tony Pepe Hands, Lan Pepe Hands, Johnny Pepe Hands. The great Sven Snusburn has fallen. Back to Sweden, I guess.
Fallen, but not dead.
Sorry.
Big rain suffering the fall.
So again, we want to look at E to know what number of entities are in our field of view. So it's this first number before the slash at E at the top left here.
Yeah, I got it.
So that's the number of entities that are within our current field of view, including through the walls. And the second number is the total number of entities in all of the loaded chunks right now. We also have a couple more numbers that Amazon has been using. I'll leave a link to his Twitch, as his methods have refined runs a lot. So the first new number that we've been looking at is M. So M is the total non-permanent hostile mobs in current loaded chunks. And the second number that we look at is C, which is right next to the M here. C is creatures, and in our scenario, the creatures in the world are striders.
What's a strider?
So C is going to be a different number depending on your world. Striders spawn.
The one you can ride.
Don't seem to have their own mob cap at all. Sometimes this number will be very low, sometimes it'll be very high, but the M should always be somewhere around 70. So if we compare M plus C against the total number of entities in the world, we get a difference of 30, and 30 is roughly the amount of piglins that are in a bastion. So again, M is only the number of...
so they are not calculated into the equation.
Piglins in a bastion are permanent, which means that they'll kind of exist outside of M, but they'll still add to the total number of entities in the world. So since there's a difference of 30, it means there's one bastion currently in loaded chunks. This is helpful for resetting, as we can determine if there are any bastions at all within our loaded chunks, or we can determine if there are 4 bastions in loaded chunks. We need 1 minimum, obviously, and we need at least 1 area to not have one, so that we can have a fortress. So this is super handy for knowing off-spawn whether or not the run is playable. For world record, Dowski and Davey have limited their render distance to 16, meaning they won't be able to detect any bastions further away than 256 blocks, which is a decent cutoff for a bastion being too far away for us to bother running to. If a bastion's further than 250 blocks, it's probably too far away for a world record pace run. So we can just reset off spawn, as we want a bastion closer than that.
Okay, what should I have? Should I have 250? Should I have...
Now that we know how many bastions there are in our world, we want to know where they are. So we look around for a spike. There's a spike over here. Again, we're looking at the first entity number. So right now, looking over here, it's only around 30. But if I look over here, it spikes up to, 65, 67 over here. So now we can lower our FOV to know more precisely where it is, and then we can run that way. So it looks like the spike starts at around here. So if I'm looking over here, the first entity number is at around 11, drops down to 2 over here. But as I look over here, it spikes up to around 25. So we can just fly through here. There's our bastion.
Wait, what?
So
25 entity. I thought you had to do this and that. Entities are pigs? Entities are pigs. Okay. Okay.
If we add up our M and add up our C, we get 110. And if we look at our total number of entities, we've got 170. So that's a difference of 60. 60 divided by 2 is 2 sets of 30, obviously. So there's 2 bastions.
Where the fuck do you see that? 110? Oh, okay.
In this world. So now
But in this direction only? Or behind you too? It could be behind him, right? It could be behind him. Around him, yes.
We know we've got 2 bastions in our world. Let's look for them. So look over here. Spikes, it drops all the way down to 6. I look over here, it goes up to 40. Over here, it goes all the way up to 80 though. So there's 1 bastion somewhere around here. Now if I look over here, there's also a spike of 80 around here.
Okay.
There's 2 spikes of 80. Obviously in the middle of them, it seems to be spiking to 100, but it's because we know that there's 2 bastions.
Okay. I get it. I'm getting it. I'm gonna need a trial, but I'm getting it.
So now that I've found 2 bastions, I want to find out which one is closer to me, so that I go to the closer bastion rather than the further bastion. So I'll drop my FOV down, look at exactly where the spike is. Spike's to, it's like about 57 over here. So what I'll do is move my mouse away from the spike until it drops down to about 20. So here we go. The angle here is -7. It's after the facing. My current angle is -7, so I'll note that down. And then look back at the spike, look at the right of the spike until it says 20 again. So we've got 66. So that's a difference of 73. And now if I look at this other bastion, spike's at 45 over here. So I'll look over to the left until it's 20. 20 on the entity counter.
Wait, now I'm confused.
86 here at the angle. And then look back at the spike, look to the right of the spike until it says 20. We've got -25. So a difference of 60. The larger the difference of the angles, the closer the bastion should be. So this was a difference of 73, this was a difference of 60. We should go to the one with a difference of 73.
Dude, I'm just gonna do fucking 300, man. Or
So
like 350 or
your
something, right?
Your difference. So 73 divided by 2 is, somewhere around 35. Add 35 to this number or subtract 35 from this number. So we'll just do 30. If I go 30 here, here's a bastion. So
4 more years.
-80,
4
so
more
10.
years.
If we go
4
to
more
spawn,
years. 4 more
we
years.
check our
4
difference,
more
halve
years.
it,
4
difference
more
was
years.
60.
4 more
Just add
years.
30 to
4
this
more
number,
years.
or
4 more
subtract
years.
30 from the
4
other.
more years of Minecraft. Only the
So
villagers.
we get
Forsen, no more Minecraft.
Oh!
so Bastion is at roughly 250, 150. So clearly a fair bit further away, since it had a smaller angle difference. This Bastion was further away. Now, something you should do before you go to any Bastion is you should take note of which quadrants have Bastions and which quadrants don't have Bastions. Because then when we're leaving our Bastion, we can run to a quadrant without a Bastion. As it will most likely have a fortress, so that we don't get 2 Bastions in a row. I strongly suggest you do this off spawn, as often if you're leaving a Bastion, checking for non-Bastion quadrants, you'll look back towards spawn, and your spawn will have a lot of mobs, which may trick you into thinking a Bastion is there when it's not. So this Bastion over here was in positive positive, this Bastion over here was in negative positive, which means that negative negative and positive
this part I
negative
get,
will
but-
likely have fortresses in them. Another thing you should check when choosing which Bastion to go to through walls is your sea level, which is just above the E here. So the first number of the sea level is basically the number of chunks containing air.
Alright, I mean, I fucking get it.
Hello Forsen, I am here to tell you in chat that I will be taking a 2-month vacation Okage. Blazes FeelsOkayMan. King Traders FeelsOkayMan. Joycer Dragons FeelsOkayMan. Throwing God Seeds FeelsOkayMan. Omega LYL I guess.
Yes. And nice underwear. Alright. Forsen's turn. That is gonna be fucking so easy, man. So fucking easy, boys. Wallach strats. Jesus. Back in my day, we had to find the Bastion ourselves. Manually. Can you imagine that? Crazy.